snow, they said. It will be fun, they said. I'm going to be drinking hot chocolate throughout this whole video. I did this to myself, but it's so good, and I love this glass. Look at this. Look at that. I don't know if you can really see what it says, but Jen got this for me for Christmas, and I can't stop using it because this one's specifically for me. None of my other mugs, well, that's a lie. Only one of my other mugs says that it's specifically for me, so I have to use it. Dear Luskarime, this week I am learning that things don't always work out as planned. For example, last week I went to KCACTF as a Jan term with my school. It was the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, so all theater all the time for a week. And I wanted to show you some of the experience. Didn't really get to record a lot of it because, you know, when you're busy in workshops and shows, you're not supposed to be filming. But, you know, I got some snippets and I was really excited to show you, but I don't have a transfer cable to get all the videos from my phone to my computer. And of course the files are too big. So that's just gonna have to wait until I'm back on school and I can, you know, show them to you. I can upload them somehow, I guess borrowing a friend's cable, but it's not happening this week. I also planned to send you a letter yesterday. However, all of my envelopes are still on campus. And I finally got one from Carla, but then I had to spend the night at her place because last night it snowed a little too much for anyone's liking and we didn't want to drive in the snowy dark. And now, who knows when it's going to get there, because now that the storm is coming, the post is probably going to take forever and a lifetime. So a letter's coming to you, it's written, it's sealed, it's going to be sent and delivered at some point. I'm so sorry that I can't give you a better kind of estimate than that. Another thing is that I had every intention of going back to school this Sunday. School is supposed to start on Monday, and we're going to finally start our spring semester, but because of all this ridiculous snow, that's not happening. School was actually canceled on Monday, so that's probably when I'm gonna move in, and it's for the best. It's safer this way. Honestly, I don't want anybody to have to drive in terrible weather with, like, all those turns that we have to make, the windy road that we take. It makes me nervous thinking about it, so it's probably for the best. Now that I have all this more or less free time because of the snow, I can do a lot more reading. I actually just finished a book, The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom. I've been tweeting about it a good bit. I actually posted a blog about it, but I am in love with this book. You already know, he's my favorite author. And I think it was just a really well done concept because most of his books, you know, relate in some way, shape, or form to his faith. And this one is probably the furthest from that, but it's also probably one of his most universal books. Like, I think anyone in general can relate to this because it deals heavily with music and how music impacts a life. And we all, to some degree, know what that's like. And especially for anyone who considers himself an artist or a performer, I think you'd get so much out of this book. It's worth a read, it's not super long, and it's really intriguing. I talk about this in my letter, but one of my goals for the year is to read 12 books in the entire year. That's at least one book a month. So, I finished my first book. I finally done that. I'm good. Now I have to compile a list of the other books I'm going to read. And some of them are probably going to come from suggestions from book clubs or are going to come out this year and I'm going to hear about it and be like, I need to read that right now. We'll see. But a few of them I actually wanted to read last year and never got the chance. So, they are making their way into my 2016 lineup. The first book I'm going to read now is Unbroken. I tried to read this and just never found the time. I struggle with biographies a lot. I'm not sure why they take me longer than most books, like even other nonfiction books. But I'm finally going to read this. I'm sure you probably heard about it. The book did extremely well in sales, and there was a movie that came out. It says, Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. And I don't know, war stories interest me, so I think this will be a good read. And from what I hear, I'm probably going to cry a lot, so looking forward to that. Then comes The Shining. I've been wanting to read this for forever, and I just never bothered to pick it up. I want to watch the movie. I have so many reasons to want to watch the movie, but I'm one of those people, if I can read the book before I watch the movie, I'm going to do it. And my friend Paul finally stepped up and let me borrow it. So thank you, Paul, for this. I cannot wait to read it. I'm going to have to get through Unbroken first because I am determined to get through Unbroken. But this is going to be fantastic. I know that Stephen King is super, super intense as a writer, and I am looking forward to it. And then comes After Alice by Gregory Maguire. If you don't know him, he's the guy who wrote Wicked, which is very different from the musical, but still really good. What he more or less does is takes all of these fairy tales and stories that we all know and love and writes in the villain's perspective. And it's always fantastic. I am not 100% sure what After Alice would be. Is it the rabbit? Is it the Queen of Hearts? I don't even know. I just know I'm gonna love it. If you have any suggestions for me, I would be more than happy to hear them. And if I find anything that I like, of course, I'll pass it along your way and let you know what's going on. And for the record, anything that I read for school doesn't count. So if I have to read plays or novels for a class, I don't want to count that just because, you know, then I'm forced to read it and it's not the same. As soon as I get back to McDaniel, I will hopefully be able to borrow a cord from somebody and finally upload the footage from KCCTF. So that video will be coming, hopefully soon. But until then, I hope that you are doing well. And, you know, a vlog is all you get. I'm sorry, but every now and again, vlogs are okay. You know, they can't all be ridiculous montages about my weird life. Hope to hear from you soon. Love, Sammy. I remain convinced that the only way to really enjoy snow is if everybody just stays inside and looks at it from inside, because outside is too cold and far too hazardous for me.